Hello, everybody. Anyone here? So we are three here waiting for you to come in before we start talking about Python. So it's me, Iseline, and we have Sarah. Say hi, Sarah.
Sorry, I was lost in the chat and also playing with these fake teeth.
And we have Emilia.
Hi everybody. I'm really happy to be here. Hello, hope you're going to enjoy.
So we are dialing from fun places. I'm dialing from Lausanne. Sarah, where are you dialing from?
Bern. And if you don't know, then Bern is the capital of Switzerland, by the way.
And I'm dialing from Cologne, Germany.
Nice. So I'm hoping to see where is everyone dialing from. Like Hansa, I've seen you so often. Next time you should come as a guest.
Hello, Hansa.
I wonder, so I would like to know two things. I would like to know, like, where are you at the moment? And also, I would like to know if you are an engineer or an SEO or someone in marketing. So we know a little bit about everybody's background, you know?
From Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv.
Wow, hello.
That's so good. It makes me so excited to see that we have an international audience.
London, hello, London.
I will be back in Germany soon. South Hemisphere.
North Carolina.
Oh, yay!
That's far.
Yeah, I love
that's far.
Paris.
In house, okay. So many SEO.
Yeah, many SEOs.
Yeah, fair equals SEOnerd, so it's quite fair in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. So from Cologne.
Hey.
Lisbon.
Everybody from Cologne. Yes, hello from Cologne as well.
That looks great.
Lisbon.
I think that anyway we have a good understanding that are all SEOs. You don't have many engineers. Luckily, the presentation is clear for us.
So we are really happy to see you all here today. And what I suggest is, while we are waiting a couple of minutes before everybody arrives, I can start by introducing the association. Yes. If you want to share your slides.
Sure.
Sarah.
Okay, present.
Hey, so if you are the first time here, you are here at an SEOnerdSwitzerland meetup. SEOnerd is a non-profit association dedicated to sharing accessible SEO knowledge and also advanced SEO knowledge to as many people as possible. It started as a local chapter before coronavirus, so we used to meet in person, but then coronavirus happened and we turned online. And so we enjoy doing online, and so we just keep on doing online meetups. We usually have one meetup every month, and we have different types of subjects ranking in a different area of SEO. So we might talk outreach one day and Google Data Studio another day. That's a subject I'd like to have next year, by the way.
If you didn't understand it.
that was a hint. And so also, if you want to pitch a subject, we have a speaker's pitch deck that I can share later once I'm done talking. We are especially looking for subjects very practical and also bonus if you have past experience, or, you know, it's always good to have someone who experienced something, a challenge, and then coming here to discuss it. And also, we will have a big surprise coming at the end of the year, but that's all I can say today. So next slide before I sleep. Sarah?
You're fantastic. We will keep it till tomorrow.
So no, I cannot say anything today. So, but it will be a big thing. So
On the
anyway,
third.
Sarah, next slide. And also because we are non-profits, we have sponsors because it still costs a little bit to organize online events, especially the softwares like Zoom, which got more expensive. And also we create transcripts. So we have help from people creating the transcripts. And so all of this has a cost, and we have two sponsors. The first one is Leap. It's a web development agency based in Switzerland. It's one of the biggest and most famous in Switzerland. So in case you want to target that market, just go to them. And Sarah works there, by the way.
By the way.
So go work with Sarah. And the next sponsor, of course, is Working SEO.
If you're looking for a job in SEO in that case.
Yeah. So if you don't know yet, Working SEO, it's a job board, an international job board, and a podcast. The plan is to share stories about SEO to help you navigate your own SEO career. So we discuss lots of different subjects, but really the point is for everybody to feel welcome in the SEO industry and to make it a big, beautiful, welcoming, and especially diverse industry. So I'll share a couple of links afterwards. There's a podcast out every week and a couple of jobs open. So every share and like is really useful. So thanks. And
yes, and can I just add something about Working SEO? I know then it was not organized, but again, I feel that I was lucky, as many other people, in listening to the podcast. And one thing that impressed me is the honesty of people when they're speaking.
Yeah, I agree.
It's fantastic, no? So I mean, I don't follow many podcasts, but that I even listened to it today. So I really would suggest people to listen to the podcast and check, obviously, for job. And she didn't even pay me for that. I'm just saying.
Free promotion.
I really believe in it.
Joking.
And so thank you, Sarah. Yes, I'm the podcast host, and I don't know, I just really like listening to stories and asking people things. So in a podcast, it's really useful then. And I have one last announcement before we start. It's the next slide.
No.
And this is, no,
okay.
Yeah. So this is not the big surprise. This is the one before the big surprise. I went crazy with the design because I thought it was the last event of the year. So it's actually November. I will share the link also, but basically it's going to be a very special event because it's going to be a conversation. You know, right now we are in a webinar. You can see us, but we don't see you. But this event is like a meeting. So everybody is free to join the conversation. And we will have 3 different people to answer your questions. We have Lydia Infante, who is a head of PR at Rise at 7. So basically, she has a hierarchy position in an agency that is like super famous. We have Annette Paul, who has built her team, so she can answer all questions about she can answer a question from the perspective of someone who is hiring a SEO. So like, what should you prepare to a job interview and this kind of thing. And we have Tessa. Tessa created her own agency. And so she can answer all type of questions about creating your company, your SEO consultancy, and what it takes and all of that. So you're really welcome to join us. It's going to be a really fun event. And important thing, this event is not going to be recorded, which means that we want you to feel comfortable to take part in the conversation. So there will be no recording, which means
ask whatever you want.
Yeah, ask whatever you want. what happens there stays there. And so it's really just a comfortable place to discuss. That's
yes.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you, Isarin, for introducing the event. I agree with her. It will really be, I feel if you know somebody, just speak about this event, because it's an opportunity to speak to everybody directly, and you will see them, they will see you. It's cool. So, okay, however, why we are here, I guess then you're here because you wanted to know about Emilia. So Emilia will introduce you a little bit, if that is okay. So I know Emilia since maybe a year, something like this. So I met her through a fantastic community. For those that don't know the community, is Women in Tech SEO. If you're a woman and you do SEO, please join the community, because it's probably one of the most powerful community in SEO that exists, where you can learn, meet people, as it happened to me. I wanted to learn a little bit more about Python. I had a couple of ideas, and then I was lucky to meet an engineer in the community, a Python engineer. So better than that I couldn't do. And so she's somebody very open and willing to share knowledge. So that is, I think that is something fantastic, and you should profit today about her, because she's happy to share her knowledge. And if you have questions, I guess she will answer also on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, that's great. Can I share my slides now? Or?
You want? I can finish to speak about you, Emma.
Oh, sorry,
I was speaking too much about you. Okay,
no, the
Emma.
voice is kind of...
Okay, Emma, let's do it like this. You can go and share your slide. It was too many compliments. Okay, I agree. Okay.
Sorry, the voice was kind of late in my ear, so I don't know. Okay, I share my screen now.
Okay, I will stop sharing then.
Okay. Okay, so today we'll be talking about critical thinking, the pros and cons of automation in SEO. I'm here representing Majestat. I'm Emilija Gjorgjevska. I work as an in-house technical SEO product manager and Python engineer. I'm really happy that I was given this opportunity by Isarin and Sarah to speak in front of the SEOnerdSwitzerland community about something that I truly care about and deeply understand. So I was kind of thinking, oh, so many topics. People talked about Python, people talked about using certain Python scripts, people talked about e-scores, but nobody thought about how to think. How should we shape our thinking in order to be better as SEOs and in the game in general? Something about me, I'm a computer science engineer. That's my formal background, and I'm focused on MarTech. And I like to say for myself that I'm a generalist with a particular interest in SEO and product. I have mixed background in IT marketing, growth, teaching, product development, writing, and research. And all of these skills were really useful for me and helped me solve different types of professional challenges. I'm not saying that it's okay to be generalist, and for some people it's okay to specialize. But in my case, diverse skills helped me solve really interesting challenges that I couldn't solve otherwise, unless I learned everything about a bit more about growth, teaching, product development, writing, research, and so on. Now, this presentation is about understanding marketers and engineers, because we cannot talk about critical thinking if we don't talk about how marketers and engineers work and think together independently. And it's crucial to understand this for developing their critical thinking for our own industries. Why? Because no matter whether you're here as an engineer or here as a marketer, you really need to understand the opposite side. It seems like we are two different parts of one single body, because the ultimate vision why we are hired to be here is that we are here to provide for companies' growth. So no matter whether you are hired as an engineer or whether you are hired as an SEO, the ultimate goal for you to be at a certain company is to act as one, just like in a picture, as one body, and provide for companies' growth.
Hey, Emma, a lot of people are not mother tongue here. So could you get a little bit down on the pace? You are going super fast. It's super interesting, by the way. But yeah, she was explaining the difference between the...
Yes, because both profiles are really needed. Like I usually see that people are talking about, hey, but marketers don't understand engineers, or saying, hey, engineers don't understand marketers. So as a person coming from a technical background but working in the marketing industry, I kind of felt obligated to tackle on this issue and kind of speak about what I can do to help the community so understand each other and why we should operate as a single body and help others in the game to make better projections, better strategies, and better thinking as a single person.
Yeah, I love behave like a body, like everybody together.
Yes, be everybody together, acting as one single body. Yes. So if I talk about what happened in the past 20 years, you can see that 10 years ago, marketers were more on the promotional side. They were talking about artificial intelligence, they were talking about machine learning, they were talking about deep learning in the past, but they were more promoting it. They were not active practitioners when it comes about actually doing some stuff and trying something on their own. While if we talk about the last 10 years, on the right side, we can see that more and more marketers are upgrading and upskilling. They're learning Python, they're learning Java, they're learning JavaScript. So they are actually the people who are representing the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning communities nowadays, which is great. I'm having my own part here because I also do a research work. I recently published content engineering for state-of-the-art SEO digital strategies by using NLP and machine learning on IEEE with the help of my mentor, PhD Gjorgjevska, which is my professor from the Faculty of Computer Science and Engineering. And we want to see, we can see that the community is advancing. There's definitely a plus. So we want things going in this direction, but still, there's still some stuff that need to be discussed. It's impossible to talk about great critical thinking if you don't examine the good and the bad sides of marketers and engineers. So for example, when we talk about engineers, and I can personally also confess about that as an engineer, being an engineer myself, but the good side is that we do want to solve problems through the use of technology, and that's definitely true. And we want to work on something that is valuable and assisting companies grow, because ultimately that is why we are hired, that is why we want to think about solving complex problems that can help the company bring some profit back and so on. We want to help other people if they also put the effort too, meaning I don't want somebody coming to me and saying, okay, but can you do URL redirect for me? And I don't maybe understand why this URL redirection, or maybe do schema ALD for me, and I don't know what schema ALD is for me. You need to explain it, not just in person. Also, the same is happening with ticketing systems. Like in the current company that I'm currently working for, we have this Jira and Confluence systems where people are writing to us different stuff, and sometimes it feels unclear that people are not explanatory enough about what they want to achieve. So definitely put the effort to understand. And we to correctly explain what you want to achieve. And we do respect honesty and genuine interest, but please avoid promoting yourselves as devs or data scientists when you have little experiences in these areas, because the quickest way to lose an engineer's respect and help and collaboration is to promote yourself as something that you're not. So please avoid using this nouns when possible, if you're not completely deep into these areas. Our bad side is that I'm not sure how many people are ready to admit this, but I think that all engineers think that their profession is number one. And this is something that you should be aware and really open to say that it's like that, because maybe that will make it easier for you to craft a strategy how to approach an engineer if you know that he thinks that his profession is on the first place. The bad side is that we also may see some tasks as additional work, so we don't like to work on something that seems to be relatively easy, especially not after investing a lot of time or spending hard uni courses and solving real world problems. Or sometimes, for example, let's say you see that one div can be changed or a picture can be changed, but this seems like a relatively easy task for us. So you need to invest in a lot of time explaining why it's crucial for the strategy and why it's crucial for the whole system to work in a certain way so that we can ensure growth. And
so
yeah.
Emma, if I understand correctly, what we have to do, make something easy, make it look complicated, like this an engineer is happy.
Maybe sometimes yes, because if it looks too simple, then we won't want to work on it. Like make it a bit more complex. This is causing me some pain. I don't know how to do it. It's about images and making diff in a certain direction. I don't think that I can do this on my own, but it will bring the company X or Y growth back. So can you please solve this for me? We added a bit of complexity because we introduced growth, we introduced previous case studies, we introduced the current problem in a certain way. So three points here, and it's way more weight than just please let me solve this problem immediately. And
okay.
yeah, the bad sides of the engineers is that we are usually introverts. I don't find myself to be an introvert. I'm very talkative and very open with people, but sometimes definitely engineers can be introverts, and as such, they can be sometimes perceived as bad communicators. However, when it comes about the good sides of the marketing people, the true professionals, I do believe, and I'm truly convinced in that true professionals in marketing want to create user-centric solutions that are driven by user interests and want to increase the profit of the company. Marketers definitely, compared to engineers, know how to analyze the competition, and they know how to exploit competitors' weaknesses. And they're usually extroverts, which is a positive characteristic because that makes them good in communication, which is easier for them to make connections, at least compared to engineers. The bad sides of marketing people is that they are, or most of them can be perceived as manipulative. I'm sorry, this is the image that we created for us in the industry. We must face it. As long as we face that people understand marketing as something that is persuasion and manipulation, then we can tackle it. Otherwise, it's a lot harder. Sometimes I think that marketers are speaking more and acting and learning less. So I've seen a lot of talks when people are talking about, for example, like I said, artificial intelligence, machine learning, wanted to declare a data scientist and devs. But it seems like they're speaking more and acting and learning less because they couldn't explain how their own solutions are working or acting. And sometimes the marketing people do not invest enough time to understand how things work in the background, in other words. So like I said, they are in love with catchy titles just to look trendy, but yeah, please don't go this way.
So let's face it, it's a little bit brutal, this slide,
yeah,
but
it's
somehow
very brutal and very open and very direct.
It's very honest, no? It's very honest. So I am also married with an engineer, and I have many engineers around me, so think their profession is number one. Yes. They think that marketing are manipulative. Yes, 100%, because I heard that like tons of time.
Yeah. And if you compare it culturally, you can see that engineering versus marketers, their profession is way more predictable than marketing, because the only things that engineers are dependent on are bugs, and sometimes they're dependent on some incidents that are happening in the background, or maybe sometimes they're dependent on not having backup on their own code, their own systems, their own data, and so on. However, if you see the marketers on the right side, we are dependent on so much more. We are dependent on the price of the products that we're offering. We are dependent on the market conditions and how competitors advance on the market, what are their offers, and so on. So we are dependent on negotiation with our own clients, and that's way more unpredictable compared to what engineers are doing. And at Meinerstadt, we were dependent on the weather. So in certain cases, when the weather was not nice, people were not going out, there were not enough searches. And you can see that if we try to simplify this somehow, the efficiency side is lying on the left, where the engineers are, while the innovation side is on the right side, where the marketers are. And efficiency and innovation are opposite by definition, because if you want to be efficient, you cannot be innovative, and vice versa. If you want to be innovative, you cannot be efficient. So there's a kind of some sort of a conflicting culture, and that is why we need to understand that even our skills overlap sometimes. Marketers don't have the skills of technical knowledge to understand statistical significance and computer science concepts, so they need a bit more help, and they're a bit more dependent compared to engineers, and that's the crucial thing that is making them so different in the culture inside of one company. So the real question here is critical thinking even present? A lot of people ask me, is it programming that it's the thing that you're talking about, that it's hard to learn? or adjusting to people and learning how to think in general. And I personally believe that it's easy to learn how to code. It's easy to learn how to code in Python. It's easy to learn how to code in Java or JavaScript, but learning how to think about your programs and how to evaluate your efforts is not that easy. And this is something that I want to elaborate during this presentation today. I picked 2 case studies, automating 2 different types of ideas. The first automation idea is SEO forecasting. So I have 3 potential solutions about how to do SEO forecasting depending on the level of technical expertise that I have. For example, if I don't have any technical expertise, I will use pre-built online tools to perform forecasting, because you can write SEO forecasting online on Google and you will find some of them are there for free to you, where you can input your data and simply do the forecasting. The disadvantage here is that you're going to share, maybe you're risking to share your data with third-party company that is going to use your data, and this is not the scenario that you would want to have. The second scenario is to try to use classic spreadsheets to make predictions, whether they're Excel spreadsheets or Google spreadsheets. I'm not talking about Google Cloud, but I'm using about the classic use of Google spreadsheets in this case. But the disadvantage here is you're not sharing your data with third-party data, but still you might miss using some advanced solutions and machine learning models because the Excel and Google are not integrating it into their products. And the third option will be to develop an automated solution where you will leverage the power of machine learning. Please follow J or O's for that, where you can use some models like Facebook's Profits, Arima, and so on. Maybe you can use some of this, but this is tricky because you need to know whether that you account for everything. So at my company, do you have a question, Sarah?
Yes. So can you go back to your previous slide? So I saw a question, and I think that is a good time to ask it, because if not, later on it will be a little bit complicated maybe. You spoke about using pre-built online tools, and probably that is the most easy one for somebody in marketing, no?
Correct, yes.
It's because you Google it, is the easy one. The other one asks really a strong collaboration with engineers.
Yes.
Especially the last one. So there was a question, and it was, do you have something? I mean, you tested probably to exclude the solution. Do you have something in mind, or you just say, please Google it and you will try?
No matter whether I'm talking about SEO forecasting or any other solution, first I want to try it with a pre-built solution, but I'm faking the data because I don't want to share companies' data in this case. I just want to make some assumptions whether to see how it works, and I'm showing it to my managers to say, okay, this is how it might look. And this is how will help us do that prediction of return on our investment. So maybe it will be great if our engineers or we built it internally in the team. So that is how we approach this stuff in the current company that I'm currently working for, Meinerstadt, and the previous digital agency that I was working for.
Okay, so and do you have a free tool? Then you tested, and you would say, hey, go marketers, SEO, go and test that, and then exclude it in case. No, I'm joking. But like, do you have a tool in mind? Then you can say, hey, you can go and test it.
No, I don't have at the current moment. Okay. I don't have anything
so
that
Google
I prefer.
It.
Yeah, Google. For any specific scenario that you have, please Google. In this case, it's forecasting. So try Googling SEO forecasting script or SEO forecasting tool, and you will find something on Google. I don't have. I don't want to do any type of affiliate marketing here, so it's just a free presentation.
But it's fair, it's fair. Anyway, yeah. You can always Google everything.
Go. Yes. The thing is everything taken into account. I told you that you can use the Facebook profit model, this machine learning model that is used for doing SEO forecasting. But the problem with this model is that it's not taking everything into account. You need to provide all this data to the model in a certain way. For example, the traditional Facebook profit model is adapted to English, and I'm working at a German company. So all the holidays are considering English regions, are not considering German regions. So you need to take German holidays, and put into the algorithm and say, okay, you're working for this country, you're not working for England. Or maybe if you have Google updates and you want to make a projection, then you need to take the time intervals of the Google updates and provide it to the model and say, okay, in this period we had Google updates, so you need to take care about that as well. So we have specific region, just like I said, it's not the same whether you're working for Switzerland, whether you're working for Germany, whether you're working for England. There are even sudden events as outliers. For example, here in Germany, we often have news that a bomb from Second World War was found, and suddenly everybody are starting to read in the news. And this is an outlier because it's not an event that is happening all the time or happened in the previous year at a certain date. So you need to provide that to the algorithm. Certain lockdowns as an event, so you need to take the time interval. In Germany, we had multiple. You need to take the time interval for the lockdown and provide it to the algorithm. Maybe change of intentions. For example, we at Meinerstat, we provided local information and touristic information, and we saw a change of interest when the weather was bad. So when there's a change of intentions due to weather conditions, you need to provide that to the model as well, so that it works on a perfect, on the best possible level, and so on. So that is why I say that you need to take everything into account. The second idea, automation idea, is categorizing data. So you can categorize articles, for example, or you can categorize keywords for creating topic clusters. Now, again, you can have potential solutions like using pre-built tools and platforms to perform clustering. I know that there are some paid ones. For example, one paid one was from Snippet Digital. But the problem here is that you need to pay for it. There's no free solution that will help you perform the clustering, or maybe you have free tools to do certain part of it, but the clustering will not be, it will have limited categories. For example, you can retrieve only 10 categories out of all the keywords that you provided to the tool. And in certain cases, you can exploit scripts found on blogs on GitHub, but this is a bit tricky because of the following manner. I had, this is some example of keywords that I was dealing for in Meinerstat. We had Makler Nuremberg. Makler means agent for properties. Immobilien Augsburg. Immobilien also means properties. Suche BG Oldenburg. That is looking for a partner for renting in Oldenburg. Schneider Regensburg. That means a person who is preparing the clothes in Regensburg, and so on. And you can see all of the cities are Nuremberg, Augsburg, Oldenburg, Regensburg. They have Berg, Burg, like the similar ending. So considering semantic similarity, they are going to be clustered into one group. But in fact, in practice, they do not belong to be in one group because they're talking about different stuff. They're talking about properties, they're talking about finding a rental partner, they're talking about Schneider, and so on. And this is important to understand because you will have difficulties with the cluster. So make sure that you completely understand the algorithms that you're using in the process. I saw Lee Food creating some sort of a keyword solution. So I posted a quick question. Let's say that you have the following scenario, assuming that you're trying to cluster in German with the words that I just posed to you. There are multiple cities with the ending Dorf in them so that the queries might get categorized together due to this semantic similarity. How do you solve for this? And the answer was that I think that this is not a full solution, but maybe you should, this is a question for the fall of his devs, which despite his good work on developing a solution, showed a lack of understanding on how this solution actually works. And this is something that you don't want to do. So the crucial question here is, how many clusters can you expect based on the data provided? What if you had 200 words, keywords? How many clusters would you expect to have? Are you going to have 10 groups? Are you going to have 20 groups? Are you going to have 25 groups? Because this is a number that you need to predefine, and sometimes how it depends on the variety of the data that you pose to the solution.
And also because maybe you don't want so many groups now, you need to select
in advance. It depends on the data that you're having. This is basically an experiment that you're making because you're not having the same variety of data over and over again. You need to make experiments, try and adjust. And this is something that I was explaining on my company, that is why we don't want to consider a paid clustering solution, because it always depends on the data. You cannot guarantee that the number of clusters will always be the perfect one. And this is how I saved my company €4,000 per try, and even more, because if we work with content writers and we want to do keyword clustering, then we will need to explain the differences in the data that is provided more and more times. And that is why we don't rely on paid tools for keyword clustering. In the end, I will give a word for our own general development efforts that we had at Meinerstadt. Over time, some of the tools that we built did require a lot of maintenance, whether we talk about the versions of the tools that we were using, or whether we were talking about upgrading us to the latest machine learning models. And maybe sometimes it's worth considering to use a paid cloud solution. I'm definitely a fan of Google Cloud because Google is #1 leader in understanding language and technology, or more particularly in natural language processing, natural language generation, natural language understanding. Also, it's worth considering due to security and distributed computing, because if you want to do this on as a sole engineer in the company, it might be tricky to take care about the innovation efforts, but also about the security and the maintenance and the distributed computing. And sometimes it might feel easier to think about, hey, maybe it's better to work with a cloud solution with BigQuery when it comes to big data, cloud data proc, maybe for in the networking part, cloud DNS, storage and security, of course, persistent disk and cloud storage, cloud SQL, and compute engine from the compute part, and Google Kubernetes for distributed computing, and so on. So yeah, in the end, the lesson is to strive to be collaborative with others, and because everybody has a certain gift or superpower, and we are all together with the one goal, just like I said before, we should act as one person, because ultimately the idea is to provide the company growth and help it advance no matter what. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I will be happy to answer them. Now, I hope that you enjoyed.
Emma, can I ask you, can I just repeat something to make sure that I understood it correctly and everybody else? So if I understand correctly, your personal approach is a little bit to first, let's try a free solution.
Yes.
And then if this, I don't find anything then satisfy me as a free solution, then okay, let's go on the paid solution, but there is a lot of open source, there is a lot of options, so let's go on that solution.
Yes, correct.
And second thing, then probably is under evaluated. Once then you have the solution, then when you have to decide what to take, you have to also take into consideration the maintenance. If that is correct.
Yes, the maintenance, and also tell the different conditions that you're operating in. Just like I said, holidays in Germany are not the same as holidays in England. Your particular big cases like people searching for a bomb versus not searching for a bomb is different. Time intervals for Google updates and time intervals for quarantines are different. It's something that we did not have in 2019, 2008. If you're trying to make forecasting, usually you're going to take the last 3 years. And this is something that does not happen in the third year in a row before, like 2019. So this is something that you need to account for.
Yes. Okay. So I understand. So mainly sit down, write all the scenario, figure out exactly what are the repercussions.
What is your specific case? What's the specificity of your data? How many?
What you want to obtain?
What do you want to obtain? How many categories do you expect in certain cases? How different are the keywords that you're dealing with? Analyze your own specific scenario and then try to optimize by paying it for it with other people.
Okay, so first sit down, write everything, try to understand which are your criteria, then look for a tool. If possible, first for free. If it is not possible, then pay for it. Also by taking into consideration, then you have to maintain it, and if it is paid, you don't have to maintain it.
You will have trials and errors, and you will need to see whether your solution works for that particular case or not.
Okay, thank you so much. So I hope then that was clear for everybody. Maybe you want to stop sharing the screen and we go to the questions.
Yes, please.
So
yeah, Germany has different holidays depending on different federal states as well. This is absolutely correct. I completely lost the light in my room. This is absolutely correct, but this is definitely something that is worth to be considered because it's important for the solution to work properly. So you need to provide, for example, if you're in Bavaria, you have different holidays compared to if you're in North Rhine-Westphalia.
So you need to provide that to the system also, and be careful of what you are having, as you say before, which system do you use, and you have to be able to adapt to this.
Yes, you can freely take, I will share the slide with you. You can freely take my slides. And if you're collaborating with an engineer or collaborating with other SEO and thinking about forecasting, or maybe you're paying for a solution, just show these slides to the person that you're paying for and ask, how do you assure me for the number of clusters? How do you assure me that the right holidays and the right outliers are taken into consideration? Can you explain to me, pose this question to these people and see how they will answer them?
Okay, I think that is an excellent idea. So which tools you suggest? So you already answered to that question, because mainly you show some example, you show Google Cloud, and for the rest, it really depends on your criteria. So write it down if I understand correctly. What do you use SEO forecasting in the company? You gave some example. Do you want to give some other example, or maybe somebody have something in mind and want to ask, you know?
Yeah, I told you that we've worked with Facebook's Profits, that there's a RIMA program, but follow J.R. Oaks. He has a GitHub repository of different forecasting models that you can find as a GitHub repository with a ready code ready for use.
What's the name? Say it again.
J.R. Oaks on GitHub. J.R. Oaks.
I feel then you will send me the name, and then I will send it to the community, okay?
I will write it here
we send
in
the
chat.
final email, like this.
I will write it in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Because that was complicated for me. Okay, so that is perfect. Keyword Cupid, clustering AI. So I guess that it was what they're using, and maybe they're asking for an opinion. I don't know if you know that tool.
Yeah, for those who are using Keyword Cupid and clustering AI, maybe you can ask them how they guarantee for the number of clusters that they're providing to you, and how do they account for semantic similarity between words that have similar endings but do not cover the same topic. Like I told you with Nuremberg case study.
Okay, I think then you answer to that. What else? Okay. Okay, this is like a keyword tool. What is your opinion on Uber Suggest as a simple SEO tool? I don't know. Yeah, okay. So this I don't think that you know this tool. Okay, it's like a keyword research tool, and it was free before, and then it became now you need to pay for it, if I'm not wrong. So
that's for keyword research, I think, more. It's not for keyword clustering.
Yes. It's not keyword clustering. It's really a keyword research tool. Maybe now they evolve and they do also keyword clustering. I don't know, but at the time it was just that. So I don't think then you can answer that question. It's not really related to you. Okay. So do you? We don't have other questions. I think then it was quite clear. So. Isalian, do you have a question? Oh, no. Okay. So for me, I mean, for me, it was clear. I understood. So your approach, critical thinking, sit down before going banana to buy something because you saw that it's super cool and you want to buy it.
And it's not just buying, it's also about how we're using this script. We don't understand how it can be applied to our data. If you see a script, you don't know whether it will work for 2,000, work the same for 2,000 keywords and 200 keywords. So you need to be very critical about the scripts that you're using in your work. That is what I wanted to say with my presentation.
Yes, I think then you sum it up very well there. So yeah, so for me also it's very clear. So if ever somebody have a question like about forecasting now, maybe some or another case then that you are using it and you want to have an opinion quickly, just go for it. Maybe share your experience. Okay, so I'm doing it. One, we are closing the question now. Closing the question 1, closing the question 2, closing the question 3. It's gone now. Okay. So, okay, thank you so much, Emma. It was really useful. And yes, I think then you make your point. It's really about not so much
learning how to think.
But
it's not the programming that it's hard, it's how to think that it's hard and need to learn in the first place.
Yes, I agree with you. Though I probably will just share. Hi, ciao. I will just quickly share something. I did some JavaScript classes. Writing the code, it's not difficult. And Emma introduced me to Python, so I started, but then I was like, I have engineer around me.
Yeah.
So, but I will go back. I will go back one day.
Say hello to your husband from me.
I told them half of GitLab is just because of me. Anyway, it's really difficult is to sit down and think about the logic, because writing the code is not difficult. It's really think about the logic. So it's a mindset that you have to have, and you should use that also when you look for a tool and look for a solution.
Yes.
And I think then engineers develop that because you code and you're obliged to develop that. If not, you just do very bad coding.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks again, Isalin and Sarah, for giving me this opportunity. I hope that I kept the presentation very high level without getting into techie details too much. If you have any questions, I hope that this video is going to be posted on the YouTube channel. Please cut the first part. And if somebody else has any question, please reach out to me on my LinkedIn profile that I left there, or maybe on the YouTube video, so I can answer on YouTube as well.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we quickly share where it is. I quickly share your LinkedIn. Oh, just give me 2 seconds. I quickly share your LinkedIn because it was not ready, but I'm arriving there. And then Emma, like this, then you can. Okay, if you want to contact her, she's there on LinkedIn and on Twitter too, no?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you so much, Isalin. And she's that is our Twitter handle. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Bye.
Ciao, ciao, ciao. Ciao to everybody. Bye, bye. Oh no, wait. Oh, no, yes. Okay. Good. Ciao.